Okay guys, so I've banged on this drum before, but I'm gonna do it a little bit more because I think this is really important for everyone to understand and to hold your reps, your senators, your House members, your state House members accountable for. I said in my last story that pork should be illegal in policy, in bills that are being passed, especially bills that are being rushed through. So what is pork? Really simply put, pork is something that is buried on page 500 of an 800-page bill that has nothing to do with the topic at hand. So we saw this happen with the CARES Act, where a lot of the funding that went into this quote unquote COVID relief bill had zero to do with actual COVID relief. A lot of the proposed funding before it was negotiated out had to do with regulating airline emissions, and they tried to sneak in some abortion funding. A lot of things that, regardless of your opinion on them, have nothing to do with the topic at hand. If you ask me, I think this is extremely dishonest, it's dangerous, and it's the reason that we see these what are called omnibus bills, right? Massive bills. We're talking about hundreds, some of them even several thousand page long bills that Congress and their staff is expected to read through, sometimes in just a few days, sometimes in a few short hours. And spoiler alert, they don't know what is in this whole bill. They can't. It's impossible. Try reading a several hundred-page book and understanding everything and making an informed decision on everything in that book in a few short days, or much less several short hours. So pork is when you bury some legislation for whatever it is that you want to fund or you want to change deep in the bill, and you pass it under the guise of it being for something else. Now, this is one reason that I'm a big fan of states' rights. Actually, this is illegal in Pennsylvania, where in the PA State House, we have what is called a single topic rule. So if you cannot readily and easily explain how what you are proposing to put into the bill applies to the topic at hand, it doesn't belong in that bill. So if we're debating about a bill that's supposed to be for elderly health care, let's say, I can't then in the PA State House sneak in policy or funding or legislation for a completely different topic, for military or police spending, because it has nothing to do with the topic at hand. It's dishonest, it's illegal, and it should be illegal on the federal level. So this is exactly what we see happening now in this bill that was just passed through Congress. I believe the Senate is expected to pass it, or they just did pass it. We see that there's foreign aid spending. We see that there's funding for gender studies. We see that there's funding for green initiatives and the groundwork for different new organizations now in the green movement. Now, regardless of what you think about these things, I think we should all be able to agree they don't belong here right now. We can argue about those another day. This bill is being marketed as a big COVID relief package. It's about trying to raise up the small business and the private individuals, the citizens, right, who are hurting right now, who need money, who need their jobs back, all this type of stuff that has to do with COVID. Why are we spending money and time and making legislation for all of these separate political agendas? It's so wrong. It's disgusting. So that is what pork is. That's what's been happening all over the place in 2020. It's all marketing, people. When you name and act something nice like the HEROES Act or the CARES Act or COVID Relief Act, and then you're in bed with the media so you can market it as such, and you slide in any policy, any new laws, any legislation that you want on page 850 out of a 2,000-page bill, I think that is terrible. That's what we see going on right now. I had to just kind of bring it up again and let you guys know exactly what pork is and how relevant it is today.